Coming up, we go to the south and we have a complete disaster. We've had a complete disaster. I've had to put my hazard lights on. So let me reveal what I paid for this car. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Green Flash. Yes, a Porsche Boxster. My Porsche Boxster. I bought one. I've been talking about Boxsters for such a long time on my channel that I thought, well, it's all very well doing it in theory, but you need to do it in practice and show people and actually experience one from an ownership perspective. And that's what I've done. I bought one and now I probably paid a bit too much for it. I don't know. You can argue that in a market. I think everybody's probably paying 30% too much for everything at the moment. But a Porsche sports car with a flat six engine in this beautiful colour, great combination, they're still incredibly good value. Where can you get anything like this for anything like the value that I paid for this? And I'll tell you what I paid for this later on. This particular model is a 986. It's not the very first one with the 2.5 litre engine. This has the 2.7, which is about, I think, about 210 horsepower. It also has the runny egg lights. These are really fogged over and we need to repair these. But I've got the runny egg lights and that's specifically what I was looking for. I was also looking for one that wasn't silver. The Silver Dream Machine I absolutely love, as you know, and I'm pointing, it's sitting just there. But I didn't want another silver car or a black car or a grey car. I wanted something that I could look at and just really love. And I went out looking for something in just a really lovely colour. This is rainforest green. And I just think it's just a beautiful colour. I'm told that only 0.5% of all the 986s that were made were done in this colour. And it is a rare one. Inside, it's not the usual tan or Savannah leather. This is the natural brown leather inside, which was an optional extra. So why don't I get behind the camera and let's have a closer look at what I bought and talk about why I bought it a little bit more. So I started looking for a Boxster about 2 months ago. I thought, well, let's get this done. I've always wanted to try one. I think it'd be interesting to have one on the channel so others can see what it's like. So I started looking in Connecticut and I couldn't really find anything I really liked at the price I wanted to spend, either here or in the tri-state area of Connecticut, New Jersey and New York. So I cast the net a little bit wider. So I started searching and expanding my search to the southeastern part of the US, where it's less likely prone to rust. And I also only looked at dealers that had 4 stars and above. You know, you can find that on the various aggregating websites and dealer websites as to the feedback that they're getting. So we found this car down in North Carolina and flew down there and looked at it.
Look at that, oh my god. It's a Dale Earnhardt shrine on the back of a truck. Oh, isn't that just brilliant?
Got on a plane and literally the ticket was next to nothing. It was like $50, I think, and flew down there and lo and behold I found the car that I think I've been looking for at the price I wanted to spend, and we'll talk about the price a little bit later. This car is not showroom condition. It's not a new looking car in any way. There's work on the paint that needs doing, work on the leather, there's a little bit of a clunk on the suspension. Well, we're 3 miles down the road and we've had a complete disaster. I've had to put my hazard lights on, as you can see. The issue is a serious one. We seem to have bought a car that doesn't have cup holders. And the plan with this car is for me to try and do as much of this work as I can. So I hope you'll stick around and subscribe, because we're about to go on a journey with this little Porsche and take it from a condition of deferred maintenance, but not too deferred, to something which is back on the straight and narrow, back to OEM or OEM plus, and looking like the sports car it should look like, and something that anybody would be proud to own. So it's going in for a checkup at Speed Sport Tuning in Danbury, Connecticut next week, where we'll film it. We'll show that that checkup for you guys and start to compile a list of things that need to be done. Now, there are things that I can do. You guys know that I am a moron when it comes to mechanical work, and there are things that I can't do. I don't have a lift here, nor am I really very mechanically minded when it comes to engines and suspensions and things like that. So there's a limit to what I can do, but I'm going to have a go. So I'd really appreciate your help, actually. If you know a better way of doing something, or you've got some advice on how to do something, leave some comments in the comments below. Leave all your thoughts and comments and advice below, because I really appreciate that, even if it's just moral support as I'm slogging my way through this car. It would be really appreciated. But let's take a really detailed look at this car, so you can see what a Boxster is like, but you can see what this Boxster is like and the work that needs to be done. Let's go and have a look. Right, you guys, let's start with the outside of the car. As you can see, I'm really pleased I managed to get these runny egg headlights. I think if you're going to do videos on this era of Porsche, you know, you need the runny egg headlights, I think, and I think it looks terrific in this colour. If I step back a bit and look at it, I think this colour is just the business. The problem is that the paintwork isn't great in places. If I come down here to the front end of the car, you can see, I don't know if I can catch this on camera very well, but it's had a few scrapes. I think some of them will polish out and others potentially won't. We may have to get this front bumper repainted. It may polish out, but we can, but we'll see. Otherwise, the bonnet or hood and some of the wings are in pretty good shape. There's a nasty scrape here on the side, as you can see. I think that may have it's gone through the clear coat. Maybe we can bring that back with some touch-up paint and a bit of sandpaper and some clever polishing. A bit thicker there, but otherwise that's not too bad. More scrapes here. I think that'll get into the sunlight. I think that'll polish out okay. Now the hood. Now, yes. Now, when this car is a Florida car, it originally came from the famous Brumos Porsche in Jacksonville, Florida. It spent its entire life in the South, so there's no rust on the car that I can see. But the problem has been when I brought it up here to Connecticut, where it's cold, that plastic, which is all misted over and old and awful, frankly, you can see the number of times I've put the roof down. Twice. Years. On the left hand side it went the first time, cracked the moment I did it, and then I thought the second time, well, stuff it, I'm just going to put the roof down anyway, one crack won't hurt, and immediately on the right hand side another crack. It's not a bad condition hood or soft top, we call them hoods in the UK. It's filthy dirty, and I thought, well, rather than trying to unstitch all this around here and sewing in another one, oh my god, I can't be bothered to do that. I thought it'd be cheaper and easier and nicer if I replaced this with a glass one. You can buy glass soft tops for these 986s, and I thought, well, rather than this, you know, going hazy again, much better, I think, if you had all of this in a heated rear glass soft top, nice and black again, without having to spend ages cleaning all that dust out. I thought that would look rather nice. And actually I thought, you know, in keeping with my general sort of OEM plus kind of characteristic on the cars that I buy, you've seen me do that with the 996, that would look rather nice. It's probably the way it should have come from the factory when they were building these. So we're going to do that. That I'm a bit worried about, because I think that's towards the upper end of my capabilities as a mechanic, but we will give it a go, and most likely resort to professional help when I've stuffed it up, frankly. But looking at the back, paintwork, not too bad. You're looking at it in the condition that I just got it back from North Carolina in, so it's not the cleanest. But as you can see, I think this will polish out quite nicely with a DA. Once I've cleaned it and clay barred it and given it a good polish. In fact, I've just noticed a little something there, a little dent or something there. Never mind. We're not going to get it perfect. These are the optional 17-inch wheels on this car. They came, I think, a standard with 16-inch wheels, but this has the optional 17-inch wheels, which I think look rather nice. They look like the turbo twists on the 996. They're not in bad shape. The tyres, what have we got? Veloza on there. I've never heard of Veloza. They're Velozas as well. Have we got 4 tyres? There's an oil patch there. Okay. Veloza and Veloza. So we do have 4 tyres the same. And I did look at those. They're not bad condition. The problem is they are summer tyres. And that's not going to wash up here. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is order it some new all-season tyres. And we might keep these tyres because they're not in bad condition. So if I do want to put them onto summers, I can do that again. But I think we'll keep those wheels because I think they look rather nice. And put a nice new set of rubber, a nice new set of tyres on it. And I think those wheels will come up rather nicely, actually. Otherwise, the exterior, yeah, we've got some work to do on the cowling here. I think this comes out quite easily, actually, but as you can see here, that is not supposed to be all the way up there. Does anybody know how that goes in? I don't. I think it's not too bad, but it needs attention there. Wing mirrors, that's gone through. Might need to touch that up. So I think there's a video all by itself, just the paintwork, just to get it back. But I think once that is done, there's another little ding there, I think we will have quite a good looking little car, actually. If you can imagine this with the glass rear window in it, it'll look rather nice. But let's have a little look in the inside and I'll show you what that's like. Now take a look at this lovely colour, leather. When you are this distance away, this describes a 10-footer. You get close to this car and you see it's got some imperfections, but the colour of this car, somebody spec'd it just perfectly, I think. But let me show you the imperfections. Now, somebody has crudely tried to fix this door. This is awful. And I don't know what somebody's done here. I'm going to have to take this apart and figure it out, but I can see it's been repainted. It's just not very nice, and it goes all the way back here. You can see the overspray here a little bit, so I think we're going to have to get some sandpaper out and do this. But if anybody knows how to fix this, it looks as if this top part is separate from the leather part down here, and this isn't leather. Even on the other side you can see it's not leather over there, but that's really irritating and really genuinely nasty. Otherwise the seats are not in great shape, as you can see. They need some work. They're not beyond redemption though either. They're cracked. They've been undernourished, I would say. And I think what we need to do, and I've bought it already, is a kit where you can sand this down, give it a good clean, repaint it, and I think that'll look rather nice. Somebody has crudely fixed a hole in the leather which has split again here. Now I can do all this, I've done that before. I'm not bad at that kind of thing actually, so that'll be okay. And it's the same on the passenger side. It just needs work. It's at that time of its life where, you know, that is just like, you can see the cracks in there are just not good. It needs work now, otherwise it will go into decrepitude, as they say. Over here you've got this horrible ashtray, which that's going. I'm going to do something about that. The center console, I hate these. It's the same on the 996. It's crappy plastic. You know, for a car costing this amount of money, nasty plastic. Same up here. It's all the same. Anyone who drives a 996, by the way, will instantly feel familiar with the 986. It's basically the same interior. This is the Dot 1. Just in case you're wondering what this is a primitive radar detector. which detects every different frequency known to man. So I switch it off because it's just constantly blinging in my face the entire time. As a 986.1, there is no glove compartment. All you get is in here a little bit of space in there, and between the seats you do have a little bit of storage behind here. Just keep your sandwiches or something. What have we got here? Oh, look what I found. It's the visor which goes in between here, look. Ha-ha! That's $150 that I don't have to spend. But otherwise you get an electric soft top on this car, which is a real treat actually. It feels really luxurious and it's dead simple to use. The sound of cracking plastic. I've got a new one already, so it doesn't matter. But look at that. A convertible Boxster. And two other examples where the maintenance has really been deferred just that little bit too much. On the key, you can open the front and the rear hatch. Doesn't work on the key, so every time you want to do that, you have to go in here, and there are two buttons, one for the front and one for the back. And you can hear the clicking. Just to extend the examples of where maybe the maintenance could be done a little bit more, the usual struts do not work. I've got those already, I'm going to fit those. And same in the back. Just crap. And here in the front there, we've got a Space Saver tyre, which I haven't looked at. A reasonable amount of space, probably about the same as the 996. My 996 doesn't have a CD auto changer though, which I've just noticed. Look at that. No CDs in there, unfortunately. And it's never going to get used, of course, so it doesn't really matter. But quite a reasonable amount of space at the front. And of course, because it's a Boxster, there's also space in the back as well, which is really good. You've got a dipstick on this car as well, as you can see here, which I need to look at, I think, but I know from the inside controls that some goon has overfilled it. Things that are missing, you can see here, there's one of these guards. It's a wind deflector. The bad thing about the bad design seems to be that if you recline your seat, it pushes it out, which is a bit silly. So all that remains, I think, is to get this out on the road and sort of show you what it's like to drive. So let's do that now. Right, just to show you I can drive a manual car. Here we are in our convertible soft top Boxster. And it's a very different car to the 911. We'll do a video on that to show you what I mean, but in any sports car, which is two-seaters with this bulkhead here, you do find yourself sitting a bit more upright. And also this feels a bit lower down. I don't know if it is or not. The gearbox is actually a pleasure to use. The reason I like Tiptronic so much is that I'm not from this country. I'm not used to driving left-hand drive cars. And it just makes life easier if you haven't got the muscle memory to use a manual, to use an automatic rather. But having said that, I am a car enthusiast and I do enjoy selecting my own gears. And this is rather nice. Everything is very familiar with the 996. There's really not a lot that's different. As I say, this is the .1 version, whereas my own 996 is the .2. So there are a few improvements like cup holders. But other than that, it feels very similar. It feels just like a smaller version of the car that I've got. It is a smaller car. All the way around, this direction, that direction, you really feel it. And certainly with the roof up, the visibility is limited. But then I guess it would be on a 996 convertible as well. This one is also a lot quieter than my 996. Now, as you guys know, I have fitted the car graphic exhaust on my 996, but this is too quiet now. I'm used to having a much noisier car in my life, and I love that. This is too quiet, so I think we may have to do something about that on this as well. I don't really have plans to keep this car, by the way. I'm not so sure that I need two, early 2000s era Porsches in my life. The golden era of Porsche sports cars, said no one literally ever. And what you do find as they get a bit older, and my 996 is a particularly good example, is that these cheap plastics get on your nerves. And certainly where you're having to replace things that, plastic's dried out and gone brittle, that's a bit of a pain in the arse, frankly. So I think what we'll do is we'll get this one nice over the winter. And then towards the summertime, we might consider putting it on the market and see what we can get for it. And on to the next thing. The dreaded ABS PSM light has come on. I mentioned that earlier on. I think that it is nothing to do with the ABS and PSM actually, and everything to do with the brake switch, which sits behind the brake pedal itself. So I'm going to have a go at that one myself. We'll take it into Speed Sport, see what they say. I have a notion also that issue is connected to the cruise control not working, because as you know, when you put your foot on the brake, the cruise control comes off. So I'm wondering if the brake switch there is something to do with that. Possibly it is. We'll see. Otherwise, it feels like a dirty car. And I'm quite looking forward actually to just cleaning it up actually and working on it and getting it nice. I think we've got a really good little car here, and I think once it's receives the tender loving care that it deserves, I think we'll be onto something here. I really do. I think we'll be onto something. This particular car then, let's reveal about how much I paid for it and what it is. So I mentioned earlier a 986.1, but the latter of the two. So it's got the 2.7 litre engine, 210 horsepower. I think this personally is the one to have. I don't care for the Boxsters with the clear headlights. I think if you're going to have one, then I think those runny egg headlights have really come of age now, and I think that's the one to have. And actually, I can't believe that I paid such a cheap price for this. I think these cars are just crazy cheap when you consider what you get for your money. This is plenty fast enough. Now, it's not 911 fast. So if you think you're going to keep up with a Carrera 2 like mine, you wouldn't see which way it went, frankly. And this one, I think, I think this could do with a tune-up, frankly, and that's another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to change the coils and the spark plugs. I'm detecting a few sort of flat spots, in the power as it goes up the range. Not too bad though. Silky smooth flat six. I mean, just another reason why you should think about getting one of these over the beloved Mazda Miata MX-5. I'm sure those are legendary cars. I know they are. I've driven one. They're lovely. But this is silky smooth. It is a level above a Mazda Miata or MX-5. And I don't think you'd pay any more for one of these compared to an MX-5. So let me reveal what I paid for this car then. Let's get to the meat and bones of it. And you tell me in the comments below whether this is good value or whether you have a different view. So I paid $13,000 for this car. 75,000 miles. Bit scruffy condition, but nothing a keen enthusiast like me couldn't put together. I don't think it requires a lot of money spending on it, that's for sure. All the ingredients are there. $13,000. Now, for that, I get a flat six car, which makes a really good noise. Silky smooth, plenty fast enough, electric roof, and it's a Porsche. So there you have it, $13,000. I think, even though probably 2 years ago I probably would have got this for 9 or 10, when you look at it in the round of what else you can buy, you probably can't even buy a decent 3 Series, with the fast engine on it for that sort of money. There is nothing else you can buy for this amount of value. And I think even at $13,000 in this market, there's nothing that will beat that. But you tell me what you think. I might be wrong. Well, I think that's a good place to leave our first episode with the Green Flash. Subscribe if you want to follow its story as we bring it back to a state of loveliness and beauty. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.